What's up, guys? It's Devin from Neptune Design again, and thank you very much for joining this video. Now, today I want to talk about what to do if your display ads are approved but they're not showing. So I've had a bunch of comments on the YouTube channel about this subject, and I thought, let me just make a video just with a couple of steps that you could easily follow and a couple of settings that you could easily check just to make sure if your display ads maybe might have a problem in the settings section, or if the problem is on Google's side. Now, before we start this off, for those of you who don't know, that because of the health crisis facing the world right now that can't be mentioned by name on YouTube, you might be picking up problems because the delays are actually on Google's side. Now, they basically have people who review the display ads and I think also the YouTube ads, and it seems like there is a massive backlog. So for example, I had some display ads, all the settings were perfect, and yet it took 8 days, and this is after approval, just to start showing my ads. So if you are a veteran and you know what you're doing and you can't explain why your display ads are not showing, it's probably because there's a backlog and they haven't gotten round to you yet. But it's always good just to do an exercise to see if you're on par. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do if your ads are approved and not showing is I want you to actually make sure that your ads are actually approved. So right now I'm in my Google Ads dashboard. For those of you who can't see this view, you need to go to Tools and Settings and switch to Expert Mode. That will basically make your browser and your Google Ads dashboard look like mine, and then you can really get into the nitty-gritty and you can see all of the settings, and it'll help you find out which settings are wrong if you got anything wrong. Okay, so if you look on the top left hand side, you'll see that it says enabled over here, which means that I've enabled my ads. And also if I go to ads and extensions and I click on ads, you'll see that next to each and every single image of my ad, it shows that it's approved. So you can see it says approved, 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 approved over here. So I know that my ads are approved. And the next thing that you want to do is you want to check this thing that says IMPR, which basically stands for impressions. Well, it's just an abbreviation there, but it stands for impressions. What impressions means is every time somebody views your ad, looks at your ad, it counts as an impression. They don't have to click on it, but they viewed it, so it counts as an impression. So if you see that you are picking up impressions on your display ads and it's enabled and it's approved over here, then congratulations. Basically your ad is running. Nobody's clicked on it yet, so don't worry about that. You probably get some clicks soon. Okay, so that's how you see first and foremost if you've got the basics handled, and if your ad artwork has been approved and if you enabled your ad. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to check your bidding settings. So if you go down to settings, you are going to see a section that says bidding. When you click on bidding, it will show you what bidding strategy you are on. Now, for some of you, you might be using manual CPC, okay? And if you are using manual CPC, you get to put a bid down on your Google ads or your display ads. And the problem is if your manual CPC is too low, that means your ads are not going to show up because it's like an auction system. So if your manual CPC is too low, you're not going to show up no matter how hard you try. If you're paying 2 cents, if you say your max that you want to pay cost per click is 2 cents and everybody else around you is betting 30 cents, 50 cents, or maybe even $1, that means your ads are not going to show. Their ads are going to get preference, so you need to boost up your bid. So the easy way to do this is just change over to maximize clicks. Now, I'm not saying that you have to continue with the maximize click strategy, but when you go maximize clicks, it basically tells the automated bidding strategy to bid the minimum amount possible to get you a click. And once you understand and once you see what the normal amounts are, you can then switch back to manual CPC, and then you'll have more or less of an understanding of how much you should be paying for your click, or you should be paying per click. So change your bidding strategy to maximize clicks, leave it for about 24 hours and see if you're getting any clicks. Okay, because remember, if your budget is super low and your maximize clicks is super low, or your bidding strategy is super low, you're not gonna really get any clicks or any impressions whatsoever. Likewise, if you say maximize conversions and yet you're going in there with a tiny budget, maximize conversions basically means that Google Ads can spend as much money as they want, just as long as you get the click. So they can pay whatever to win the auction, just as long as you get the click. But the problem is, if your budget is super low and you've got maximize conversions on, that probably means that your bids are actually over your budget, and that's why you're not getting any clicks. Okay, I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comment section below and I'll elaborate. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do is go over to keywords. I'm gonna say continue over here. Next thing I want you to do is go over to your keyword section and make sure that you have no keywords whatsoever. If you do have keywords, take away your keywords. Now, why do I say this? Obviously, you're on Google and you want to appear for certain search terms. The correct type of ad, if you want to appear in search, is a search campaign. If you're using a display campaign and you want to show up when people type in a certain keyword, it can work, but it's not kind of going to be effective. And if nobody types up that keyword during the day, you are not going to show up at all. And some of you might say, yes, but Devin, how do I get those ads with the product pictures there and stuff? Those are called Google Shopping ads, and I'll show you an example of those. Okay, I'm on Google and I'm going to type in men's running shoe. Not show, shoe. Okay, all of these on the right hand side, those are shopping ads, and some of you might see it on the left hand side around the top as well. If I say shoes, I think it should come up. Okay, anyway, it's being weird today. So on the right hand side, you'll see it says running shoes, and it gives you a nice image with all of these displays and gives the price and gives the website. Those are not display ads, those are Google Shopping ads. And with Google Shopping ads, you need to run a completely different type of campaign. So if you want to put keywords and you want to have your product show up for those keywords, either use search campaigns, which are these on the left hand side, or you can use Google Shopping ads, and those will bring up your products. Okay, so that is basically how that section works. Okay, so I'm back in my dashboard, and the next thing that I want you to check is, I want you to check if your audiences are too small. So for example, if you go into your audiences section over here, you can see I've got a wide selection of audiences. And basically what happens is, these are everyone who's eligible to see my ads. It shows on different websites as web banners. It'll show in a whole lot of different places, some apps as well. So if you're looking over here and you don't see much audiences, you probably need to add a little bit more audiences, or look for a more broad audiences. Because remember, if you say you want to show your display ads to an audience, and that audience only consists of 2,000 members, 50 members, 500 members, sometimes that audience can be too small, and sometimes that could lead to your ad not showing as often as you like, or even showing up at all. So there are two ways to solve this problem. Number one, try and add more audiences related to what you're selling. Or number two, you can just remove all the audiences, and that means your ads will show to everyone, and that's how you can see if you're getting impressions, that your ads are actually up and running. So make sure your audiences are big enough, okay? And this also ties in to my next point, which is locations, okay? So if you have a location, you need to be sure that the location that you're choosing, as you can see, I am targeting the whole of South Africa right now. If your location is too small, so for example, if you just want to show your ad to people in a specific suburb or a specific street, your location might be so tiny and your audience sample size might be so small that your ads are actually restricted, okay? So I don't think this would be a problem for most of you guys, but I have to point it out. So for example, if somebody's running ads and they want to show those ads only for someone in a certain street, and it's a pretty small street, that's really not going to help you out. So some of you might be saying, yes, but Devin, how do we know how big the audience is? Like, is there any way where you can check it? Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how big audience for location is. All you have to do is go into a display campaign. I'm just quickly going to start up a new one. Going to say new campaign. I'm going to say sales display, and I'm going to say standard display campaign. I'm going to put in my website, and I'm going to say continue. Okay, name the campaign. I'm just going to call this TTY, and under locations. Now, as you can see on your right hand side, it'll show me my available impressions. Okay, if I want to select another location, so for example, if I choose a location, I'm just gonna say a street in South Africa that I know. Let's see if it'll find it. If not, okay, let's take it simple. Let's target it. Okay, if I target that specific location, okay, as you can see on the right hand side, I'm only going to get about 31 million impressions, just if I target that specific city or town. Now obviously, if you break it down smaller and you go via street by street, or some of you guys might have your radius setting set up. So if I say radius and I say everyone in a 1 mile radius, and I change this to a address, watch what it does to my audience. Look on my right hand side, I'm gonna get 0 impressions. Why? Because there's next to no one in that street, and my audience or my location sample size is too small. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to make sure that you cast a wide enough net to get the type of impressions that you need. So you need to be in the millions, or at least in the 100,000s, maybe, if you're really selling something that's niche. But most of the time you're going to have a broad audience so that your display ads can actually show to enough people for you to get impressions and for you to get those clicks. Okay, so we've covered the locations, we've covered the audiences, and the last thing that I want you to check is I want you to check out your ad sizes. Okay, so if you have a responsive display ad setup, you guys should have no problems with this. Responsive display ads should not give you any problem because they actually change to fit whatever ad slots they have to go on. Whereas if you look at my ads over here, you'll see that they're all different sizes. 728 pixels by 90 pixels, 320 pixels by 50 pixels. All of these different sizes I've uploaded. And why did I upload all of these different sizes? Well, because when you look at a website, any website where your Google display ads are going to show, for example, I'm on the Forbes website over here, and these are generally the types of websites that are going to show your ads. As you can see over here, they've got this slot, and this slot is only going to display your display ad if it's the right size or dimensions to show in the slot. So some of you guys might have only uploaded a single dimension. And if you do that, you're not going to get access to all of those slots, and you might not even show up on any searches, and you might not even get any impressions. So if you're doing responsive display, not a problem. Keep on doing what you're doing. There's no problem over there. But if you're doing it the old school way and you're uploading all of your artworks and you've got a certain set of artwork created there, then I want you to really look at this and make sure that you've got enough sizes uploaded. So what's the minimum? I would say go for about between 8 or 10, and these sizes over here, these squarish sizes, they're the most important type of sizes. So if you're doing 8 or 10 or more, that's good, but 1 or 2, I would not risk it if you're going the old school way and uploading your artwork. Okay, so I hope that this has been helpful to some people out there. And if you're still struggling and you still can't get your ads approved, or you need any other type of help with your ads, if you need consulting, or maybe you're just trying to understand this whole Google Ads thing, no problem. There's a link in the description below where you can reach us. Also, if you like this video, subscribe. It costs you nothing, or you can support us on Patreon if you want it to cost you something. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for sticking through to the end, and I'll see you guys on the next video.